Hello friends, today I'm going to solve LeetCode problem number 652, find duplicates of trees. In this problem, we are given the root of a binary tree and we need to return all the duplicates of trees. What are duplicates of trees? Duplicates of trees are the trees which have same structure with the same values of the node. So let's look at this example here. So we are given this tree and the subtrees in this tree are basically any node starting from any other node other than root node to all of its leaf nodes. So this forms one subtree, this forms another subtree, this forms one subtree, and each individual node also form a subtree in itself. So now let's look how we could find duplicates in a subtree. So just by looking at this example, we can say that this subtree and this subtree are duplicates because the structure is same, right? This node has a value 2, this node has a value 2, it doesn't have a right child, and the left child towards it has a value 4, right? So that is why these two subtrees are duplicate, and also this subtree is also duplicate on itself. So these three subtrees with value 4 are also duplicate. So that's why our result will have the value 2, 4 and the value 4 for the root node. We are just returning the root node of the subtree. So now how are we going to find our subtree? So let's look at so basically what we need to know in order to know that it's a duplicate. We are given a root node 2, and for this we have a left child to its left, that is equals to 4, and child to its right is nothing, right? So basically we have some structure like this, and similarly if we create a similar structure separating each of its subtrees by a dash value, then we will get 2 underscore or the values of its subtree towards 4, towards left, that is 4, and then towards right, that is empty, right? So since we get the same structure, we know that these two are duplicate subtrees. So what are we going to do is we are going to use a map, and we are going to store each of these structures with the number of times we encounter these structures. If the number of times we encountered is equals to 2, or equals to 2 means that there exists at least one duplicate. There could be more duplicates, like we could have 2 and then 4 here again. So this would also be a duplicate of these two subtrees, but we only want one instance of the subtree in our result, right? We only want to add it once. So that's why we are only going to check if it appears at least twice. If it appears at least twice, which means that we have the duplicate and we are going to add it to our result. So what are we doing here is we are actually going to perform DFS, and the DFS traversal will be since we are going from root node to left, and from this root node to left, and then again finally to the right, and we are finally creating the structure by taking the values from its left subtree and the right subtree, because this comes from left subtree, and this value here which is empty because it doesn't have any root node, any right subtree. So since these values come from left subtree and right subtree, so it is a post order traversal, because we are first evaluating the values for its left subtree and then its right subtree, and taking all of those two values and computing our structure for this subtree, right? So now let's try to code. So we need a map, and then we are going to create an array to store our result. Now let's create our function Postorder function. So we are going to pass the current node. If our current node is null, then we are just going to return an empty string. Else, what are we going to do is we are going to get the values from left subtree and the right subtree. So left subtree equals to post order to its left, and similarly towards its right. Okay, and then we create the structure which would be so we are going to use jQuery format here. So the value of current separated by underscore, and then the value we get from the left subtree, and then the value we get from the right subtree. Okay, so this will create a structure, and now we check, we add it to our map. So I'm just going to use a shortcut for our structure. Okay, so we are going to get the structure value from our map if it already exists. If not, I'm going to use the value 0 and then add the value 1 to that. And now finally I'm going to check if duplicates exist. So if, okay, so I need to set the value here. In here I need to get the value for structures. If the value is equals to 2, that is when we know that there is a duplicate. We are just going to push to our value our current node, and then we finally return the structure. So we are returning our structure because this structure of this subtree will be used by our parent subtree. And then finally we now make a call to our postorder function and return our result. Okay, let's run our code. Great, I created one extra case here. Let's look. So this is an extra test case. I just changed this value to 3, and now let's submit our code. Great. So talking about the time complexity, since we are traversing each of its node of the tree, it's O of n time complexity, and also we are using a map where it stores the value of the structure of each subnode, each subtree, so that would also be O of n. So yeah, time complexity and space complexity both are O of n.